Man versus gun.
Pistolet Makarov. P.M. Hello shooters, thanks for watching. Today's episode of Man vs. Handgun is the Makarov, or as we say in America, the Makarov. So let's see how this does on the Man vs. Handgun spreadsheet. Okay, here's our Makarov. Let's see how much this thing weighs. It weighs 1 pound, 1 pound 10 ounces. Let's get our standard, which is our Glock 17. 1 pound 11 ounces. So the Makarov plus 2 rounds equals the same as a Glock 17 does empty. The width on the Makarov, the widest point is actually right here, the lanyard. Otherwise the safety would be the widest point, but probably not. The grips are probably still wider than the safety is overall. The safety sticks out farther here, but the grips stick out on both sides. Well, let's just see. Up here at the safety, we're at 1.2, let's see, 1.16, 1.195 at the lanyard. So it's thin. It gets a 5 for being thin. Gets a 4 for weight, gets a 5 for being thin. It's a decent sized duty gun. It's been used as a duty gun throughout all the Soviet pact countries and China and other places. So it is a good sized duty gun. It's also a good concealed carry size. It's not too big and it's not too small. It's not really a good pocket gun though. It's just a little bit too big, a little bit too heavy unless you got some ginormous pockets. So it doesn't do very good in the pocket gun category. Okay, so let's look at the backstrap. The backstrap is made out of Bakelite. It's these grips here. I do have a problem with my particular sample. As you can see, it's not a super good. These two surfaces don't meet exactly together. So when I'm shooting this thing, I can actually feel that difference there in my hand. If that was better contoured so that it matched the steel, I think it would even. It's not a uncomfortable shooting gun, but I think it would be even more comfortable if this Bakelite was shaped to actually meet up with that steel better instead of having that kind of little sharp edge there. And there's a sharp edge kind of over here. The Bakelite has a sharp edge. Additionally, I feel that the steel could be rounded a little bit better than it is here on the sides, but it's not uncomfortable to shoot. But those two things would make it more comfortable than it is. You can get different grips for it, more rubbery grips, so maybe that would help. But I want to keep mine original, just because I think it looks cool. And if you do get different grips, some of them have like thumb rests and blah blah blah. So I gave it a couple of points just for having the ability to change out the grips here. So let's talk about the trigger pull. The trigger pull is in double action, is long and hard, and it does stack. It's about 13 pounds on my example. Quite a bit of stacking. It gets harder. It's really hard to pull through right there. Then single action pull is not so bad. Short, not a lot of creep. Watch the creep there. But it's about 5¼ pounds, which is pretty good. The reset is quite a ways, not too audible and not very tactile either. But, you know, it is what it is. When you're shooting this thing, you don't notice it. There's the reset. So the sucky thing is it doesn't have the same trigger pull every time. And we want the same trigger pull every time. This does not allow you to have the same trigger pull every time. Unless, of course, when you take the safety off, you also have time to cock the hammer, but that's unrealistic. Okay, so let's talk about the magazine. Magazine is a good design. It's a little too open for my likes. If you had this full and you dropped it in the dirt or the dust or the sand or whatever, I think it would be a bad thing. So I gave it middle of the road score for the design of the magazine. Also, this is what activates the slide stop, and I think it's a better design to have that actuated by the follower up here. So the design of the magazine, you know, it gets you know, just middle of the road. It does, the magazine base plate is one-handed friendly, but it doesn't matter because there's no way you're gonna get this thing out one-handed. It's a pain to do. It's a pain to do it like this. What you have to do is while you're pulling this direction with your finger, you also have to push that direction with your thumb because that's where the magazine release is. So even though the magazine is one hand release friendly, there's no way you'll get it out of there, so there's no points there. The magazine release is this in the heel here. What's interesting is on the Tokarev, it's located where it ought to be, but the Russians were always dropping the magazine when they didn't want to drop the magazine for whatever reason. I guess because there's a button there, so they pushed it or whatever. And so when they designed the Makarov, they put the magazine release down here in the butt so that you wouldn't inadvertently ever release this magazine. You have to want to get the magazine out. You can't just do it on accident. So the magazine release, though, as far as we're concerned in the West here, is in a poor location. It is not easy to operate. The only good news is it sucks equally for left or right-handers. See, I haven't practiced enough left-handed. I have practiced to do it right-handed pretty good. I haven't practiced to do it left-handed very good. So the good news is it sucks equally for left or right-handers. The safety, it is a slide mounted safety, but this is probably the best location for a slide mounted safety, and the way that it operates is different from the way slide mounted safeties in the West operate. I can do this easily so I can carry it on safe and easily during the draw stroke get the safety off. So it's for being a slide mounted safety, it is ergonomic. On the other hand, when it is on safe and when I am using my two-hand hold, when the slide comes forward, it actually removes skin from my thumb. When the slide's coming forward, it hits my thumb right there and we'll take skin off. I'll show you a video of that right now. So, when you are shooting this, if you use a high thumb like I do, if you point your thumb at the target, when I shoot the Makarov two-handed, I have to I have to be sure and give that safety plenty of room to operate. So I actually have to put my thumb over there out of the way. So that's a bad point about the safety. And the safety is only on one side. It doesn't have mirror image, so it didn't get any points. The slide catch is in a pretty decent location. This is the slide catch right here. It's situated so that I cannot inadvertently hold it down, nor can I inadvertently activate it. It's not too close to the thumb this way, and it's not so far away that I can't reach it. So it's in a pretty good location actually. It is only on one side. It is not mirror image. The rear sight is typical of its era and its purpose. The sights are, they're decent, but they're pretty dang small. Both the front sight and the rear sight. And the rear sight is so small that it is not one-handed manipulation friendly. The front sight is actually milled into the slide here. There's no way to change it out whatsoever. You can change out the rear sight. The front sight is what it is. There is no light rail. This was made before they started putting lights on handguns, and it is not optics compatible. This is this is Cold War technology. So let's take this thing out to the range and put some rounds through it.
The Makarov is a fun gun to shoot, particularly in single action. Double action pull can be kind of long and hard. Here I'm doing the first single, trying to accurate as I possibly can, double action, then reverse to single action. It can be a great concealed carry piece. There's some Hornady makes some good ammo for it. KGB carried it for decades. It's a good, solid little gun.
Final thoughts on the Makarov. It's a decent, solid little gun. It's been carried concealed by many KGB agents, and I'm sure there's a lot of my viewers out there that carry this concealed. You do got to watch out for, depending upon how you hold this thing two-handed, the safety will bite you. But all guns have their idiosyncrasies. This is a good, solid gun. It's fun to shoot. It's fun to own. I enjoy owning it and shooting it. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate all the shares, likes, and subscribes. Any questions or comments, post them below. And post your experience with the Makarov down below, too. And
ensure that your training and your practice is preparing you for the real world, your real world, and not for the fantasy land of the shooting range.
And as always, have a good day.